A customer sent in their power supply for a 2023 Samsung OLED TV, and the issue they were experiencing is a no picture fault. Now, the TV was able to turn on. They did state they had audio, but just no picture. So let's diagnose the power supply and see if it's defective. My first step is multimeter checks in continuity mode. So when I have a short, I will get a beep. Let's check our fuse over here. We want to get a beep, and we do. That means the fuse has continuity, which is good. And over here, second fuse, we also have continuity, which also means that the fuse is good. If the fuse did not beep, that means there would be no continuity, which would then mean the fuse had blown and was defective. Because my fuses are good, my next step is to plug it in, and we'll do voltage checks. So let's plug it in. And I did hear the power supply click. I am in DC volts. Let's check our filter capacitors. And we want to see about 390, 400 volts. And we are getting that 400 volts. It is more or less steady. So that tells me that the primary circuit of the power supply is most likely good and not at fault. So let's focus on the secondary side. So for secondary side, I'm going to be looking at voltage outputs on my connectors. I'm going to start with the VDRV. And according to my legend, pins 18 through 23 of this connector are my VDRV. So let me do a check. And I am not getting any voltages whatsoever. Now, the reason I checked the VDRV voltage lines is because those are the voltage lines that actually power up the screen. And since we had no picture, it was possible that that was the issue. Let's unplug the power supply. Let's discharge it. So at this point, we don't really need to do any more diagnostics. We have confirmed that this power supply is defective and the reason for our no picture faults. Let's flip the power supply over and let's take a look. Now, if we look at the pins of that connector we just checked for the VDRV, we'll notice they're all over here on the same pad. And we also have the VDRV label over here. If we follow these traces, they go to these jumpers that go over here to this big pad. Let's keep following it. Let's keep following it. Keeps going here. It looks like it splits over to the left and over to the right. So let's keep following it on the right side, over here, over here. Now we have these transformer legs over here that I believe link to here. And that is the case. So that means that our transformers on the front side over here link our VDRV lines here to here. And we have our beep from our continuity check, which means we have continuity, confirming that. Which now means that this line here is connected to our VDRV. And we'll notice it goes to this joint. If I put one pin on that joint and one pin on this one, we have continuity, we have a short. And to this one, we have no continuity, no short. So let's figure out what that component is, and is it supposed to be shorted on one leg? Now those components are these transistors over here, and they are not supposed to be shorted. So we have two of them over here, and if we keep scooching, we have two more over here. Zooming out a little bit, these are the two transformers, and these are the 4 transistors. And so far for these two, it looks like my middle pin to the outer right pin has a short, but not to the left pin. Let's check out these two. Is it the same? No, left and right have a short. And this one, I don't get a... So for this last one, I didn't get a beep, but I am getting a short, which is 50 ohms. Now for this multimeter, it actually won't beep if the resistance is above 45 ohms. But we are noticing that it said 50 ohms, which is still technically a short. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all 4 of those transistors out of circuit. We'll do it one at a time, and then we're going to measure them out of circuit again to confirm that the faults are with the transistors, and we'll recheck the board to make sure the short is no longer present on the power supply. All right, my first step is to unscrew the screws from the heat sinks. Next, I'm going to pull them off slightly, make sure they're no longer stuck on the heatsink. Flip the board over again, and we're going to switch back to the microscope for the desoldering. And we'll notice that there is a decent amount of silicone covering our joints, so we're going to have to remove that first. And here's the other two. All right, and my first step for the desoldering process is always to add solder first. Seems a little counterintuitive, but this will allow us to get good flow to the joints, and it will make the desoldering process a little easier. Get good flow. Now we can desolder. If you have a broken power supply you'd like to send in for us to fix, we offer flat rate services with a 1-year warranty. Those are available on our website, which I will link in the description below. Oh, transistor fell right through. And it looks like I put a little too much pressure. I may have damaged the trace right here, so we want to be careful. All right, that one fell through as well. Before we move forward, let's do a quick check on these two transistors. So we're still in that continuity mode. And I have no shorts, no beeps. And no short, no beeps. So these two transistors are actually not shorted. Let's take a look at the pads. No beep. I still get a beep. No beep, and I still get a beep. All right, so most likely then these guys are the ones that are at fault. And I say that because I believe all 4 of these are in parallel. I didn't quite get the flow I wanted there. That's better, but we still have a little bit of solder in there. Is that going to go through? Okay. I think it's loose enough to actually fall through. It just didn't. Let's recheck. And look at that. This one has a short and a short. So it's fully shorted. And one short on one leg, no short on the other. Okay, these are the first 2 that were still shorted even after removal. And our short is gone. And shorts are gone. Let's check the next 2. Shorts are gone, 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 and gone. All right, so we did get rid of the shorts. Let's go ahead and install our replacements. Now, these are not one-to-one replacements. These are K3R2A10PL. They are going to be a little bit more robust in terms of the current that they can handle, and also has a lower RDS. So these should be a better upgraded replacement than the originals. So one of the things I'm going to do is clean off the old thermal paste, and we're going to put our own MX-4 replacement. For that, I'm just going to use a little isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip. Now we'll notice that the center pin is of course pulled forward, which means that we are going to want to do the same with our replacements. I'm going to push that center pin forward a little bit. We're going to add a little dab of MX4 replacement thermal paste, and we'll use one transistor to spread onto the others, just like that. We're going to go ahead and feed our transistors through, and we're going to do it one at a time. And I'm going to do a quick little tightening. All right, now we can flip it over and finally solder in the replacements. Just seems like I'm getting a weird joint. Okay, I guess that's normal. I think it's maybe just the angle that I have, but some of the joints just looked a little odd. So we're just cutting off the excess that's protruding through. Let's give that a quick little clean with isopropyl alcohol in our Q-tip. There is some flux residue. All right, looks as good as new. So we're gonna go in our typical resistance instead of continuity mode, and we're gonna do actual measurements. And it looks like we're getting 92, 93 and rising kilo ohms, so that's thousands of ohms. On the other pin, 0.7 kilo ohms and rising, which that's actually pretty low, but it's normal for a lot of our VDRV circuits. That's actually as expected. Let's check out the next one. Similar reading on the upper pin and lower pin, also similar reading. Let's check these ones over here. Yep, same thing, same thing. Okay, and I'm not gonna check the next one because it's gonna be, because they're all in parallel, it's gonna be a similar reading. Let's plug in our power supply. And I just heard it click, And I feel like I heard a secondary click that we didn't hear before. Let's do let's start with our 400 volt check first. Make sure that's still there. And it is. And then let's do our VDRV voltage check. And we were getting 0 before, and we're now getting 32 volts. Now, if you have a defective power supply that you would like to send in for us to fix, we do offer flat rate services which come with a 1-year warranty, and those are available on our website, which I will link in the description below. If you found the video helpful or useful, leave us a like, subscribe for more content, and thank you for watching.